Let's go. All right, good Saturday morning, everybody. What's good, Johnny? What's good? Doing all right out there in the D? What's that? Michigan Wolverine. Oh,
Countdown. What
that
is
don't say
this?
Deadpool and Wolverine. That say Michigan. Oh, okay.
Man,
Wait,
listen.
wait. There we go.
All right,
Might,
Sparty. I see
might as
you.
well represent
I
while I
see you.
can.
I ain't mad at you. Gonna rep your
Before
team, man.
before
Rep your
next
team.
month this time, I'll be
No,
probably
I
clipping
mean,
hat.
new coach. Got from Oregon
Yeah,
State.
we'll be about 7-5 or something like that.
I think that is, you know, for the Spartans. I think that'll be okay. You know,
How many league games do we have now? Nine?
well, it's eight.
18 teams, right.
Cra- Crazy. It's 18 teams in the Big Ten, and they will
18.
not change that name.
They
That
will not
brand,
change.
I guess the branding is too strong to
Well, yeah,
call
dude. Yeah, I mean,
the Big
it's
18.
out there. I mean, they did all they could with just saying big,
I
right?
wonder if the Pac-10 would never change to the Pac-12. Would they
Yeah,
still
because
be
you figure the brand has been that way for what,
so?
50, 60 years.
It don't matter if the Big Ten get 25 teams. They're gonna
Still the
stay the
Big
Big
Ten.
Ten.
Yeah,
That's
not about the team numbers, about the brand.
Yeah, I have to look. I think it's a 9 team
Yeah, I think
rotation.
it's nine.
It's a lot of teams that
And
teams want.
what the schedules look like?
Well, I know Michigan behind. I think Florida, which is ranked to have the toughest schedule in
Uh
the nation. Michigan is right behind them because I mean we got Texas in week 2. Quinn Ewers and the gang is coming to the big house. Um, and I mean, we got to go to Washington,
right.
rematch of the national championship in Seattle. Excuse me. We got Oregon coming to the big house.
Now, you got USC or UCLA,
We have USC coming to the big house.
and then
Uh,
you gotta
and
go to
then we got to
Pasadena.
go to. No, they don't play. We don't play UCLA this year.
Okay,
Um, I think Penn State is coming to the big house, and I think after this year, I think we don't play Penn State again for another couple of years,
okay.
which I don't particularly like. And of course, we end the season with that big one. I got Michigan State is coming to us. We got them in Ann Arbor this year,
Right. October 26th.
October 26th, and then we got to travel to Columbus at the. So it's a gauntlet
Yeah. So
this year.
we start with FAU
When?
uh, on August 30th. Then we go to Maryland. Then we got Perry View,
Wow.
uh, Boston College, Ohio. Oh, I might. What's that? The 21st. I might go to Boston College. Again. Ohio State. At
So,
Ohio State. No, Ohio State come to us. Then we go to Oregon. We
ooh.
got Iowa. Then at Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Purdue, and Rutgers. Not that bad.
Oh, you don't play Penn? You don't?
We don't play any of the only the only new team we play is Oregon this year.
No Penn State?
No Penn State.
Because that was almost kind of like becoming a de facto rivalry.
Well, because we played Michigan and Ohio State, so they kept those instead of the Penn
Yeah,
State.
but you do that every year.
Yeah, but I'm saying we got Oregon in place of Penn State this year, I guess.
That, that's works.
Yeah, and so now that's not too bad.
Well,
Not too bad.
I don't know, man.
I might have to change that maybe to uh 8-4 maybe.
I
We'll
think,
see.
I think, I think we can. I think Michigan State can. squeeze about 8 wins out of this.
Yeah, I think they probably could. At least they got to at least get 7.
Yeah, I mean they'll be bowl eligible. I like their coach. I like what they are doing, and it's tough. It's going to be tough, definitely. But I mean, welcome to the Big Ten going forward. I don't particularly care for the new format, but it
Hmm.
is what it is. I understand what
Yeah,
it's about.
we know
It's
about the
about the
dollar.
money. So I'm
Yeah.
done complaining about it. I'm just gonna roll with it and let it.
Just gotta roll with the
I
punches.
I,
They
I
got
really would have liked.
you're gonna have a big two after a while, right? SEC
Yeah,
and Big Ten.
yeah. It's gonna resemble the NFL with the AFC and the NFC.
Yeah, pretty much
You
AFC,
know,
NFC, right? Yeah.
because you already got teams like Florida State talking about they want to relocate to either the Big Ten or the SEC.
Well,
Uh,
did you get the reel that I sent you about the new locker room for Michigan?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty nice,
It,
right?
it was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
pretty impressive. I
So
love the display. The
yeah,
awards and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
now that was really nice.
That was on point, man.
Yeah,
So
that was really nice.
I'm looking. I really this year. I'm kind of reserving judgment. I want to see how it unfolds, um, especially as it pertains to rivalry week. Um, I don't now. This is me being totally transparent as a Michigan fan. I think we lost too much to really think about
National
possibly
championship.
yeah. I don't think that's, but at the same time, I mean we retain a good portion of our defense. So
Yeah,
but I really want to see how this season plays out in terms of logistics and in terms of this 12 team playoff and all of it to me it feels like too many changes all at the same time. Um, you know, you're
yeah,
looking at a scenario, not maybe not this year, but I can, in a scenario where you can get 3 possible games out of Michigan and Ohio State, which totally cheapens the rivalry to me. Um, I just it was one thing to have won that game, and even to a degree the Michigan State game, and the loser of that game had to sit on that loss for
yeah.
364 days. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? It
right,
was just
right. But
and
now you got the tournament,
yeah,
then you got the tournament. So
yeah, yeah.
it's
So
like, and because everything is kind of cheapened, uh, other than no more than 2 losses, right? For those name
yeah,
calling teams
you
to get into the playoff.
you'll have 2 lost teams get in the playoff
Yeah, no
now.
doubt. Yeah, yeah.
Um, which was, I mean, it was never to me, and which is what drives me crazy about college football. I contend that it has the best regular season and the worst postseason at the same time.
Uh-huh.
Um, because 4 teams was never enough.
Right.
You you don't do you don't do it at all or you do it enough to where you can make a reasonable case for people to get in. I was if you now I mean we've consolidated conferences now, and so the Pac-12 is no more, but I envisioned a scenario where you had 8 teams when you had what 5 Power 5 conferences, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, ACC,
Right.
Pac-12. You take your 5 conference champions; they're automatic qualifiers.
Okay. And then
Add three
and then the other
three at
7
large
come from
bids
where?
where you add your at large bids. Um, I thought 8 was the perfect number to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but you
But
know,
yeah, 12.
yeah, by only having before you had a situation where at least one Power Five conference
Gonna miss
champion
out.
was going to miss out of the playoff, and that's just it. I think it always should
Well,
defer
I think
to teams that
you
win their
and
conference.
really you got to give them an at large, right? At least you win a Power Five and don't get in. Period. That's
With
crazy.
four teams, it was nearly impossible
Yeah,
to
it was
do that.
impossible. Yeah,
So
yeah.
um,
But
we'll see.
now, who can cry really?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a scenario where your top couple of seeds are going to get a first round bye. And I am excited. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am excited about the prospect of home playoff games. That
Yeah,
to me,
that adds a whole
that
nother
adds that has
whole
a
nother
wonderful flavor.
criteria to it. Yeah, no,
Um,
no. I mean, because I'm hoping uh that maybe the top two seeds anyway are cold weather teams,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just to see what a Alabama
I
or
want an
you know
Alabama. I
or
want one of
Clemson or somebody
them
have to
to
do
have to
coming up
get
here in January,
come
December.
get on a plane in January and play because even if you look at most of their schedules, even their non-conference games are they're very rarely north of the Mason-Dixon line. It's like
Well, one thing I never liked, even back in the old day setup, that which we thought was so grand, bold. I hated the fact that you had a month, you had a whole month between your bowl games.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was too
yeah.
long.
Momentum is lost,
Momentum is
and you know.
gone, right?
Although that did give some teams a chance to
To
recover
heal,
from maybe some
yeah, yeah,
season-ending
yeah.
injuries, and so you have to take the good with the bad.
But in most cases, uh, the bowl games used to be lopsided with the stronger
Yeah,
team destroying the other one
yeah.
because one, the layoff, and like you said, the teams that were injured, the guys healed, and they were the better
Mm-hmm.
team anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the time, the blowout took place in the second half after you got your
Absolutely.
football legs back,
Absolutely.
and so
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh, but now with the playoff system, you got to kind of maintain, right? Because it may be a week or two ahead of what the bowl game would have been, but
Mm-hmm.
again, it's still that layoff. And like I said, you come in
Yeah.
there rolling. Well, yeah, about 2 weeks because you got the conference championships the first
Mm-hmm.
weekend of December, and then so it's about 2 weeks, which is far different than a month.
Yeah, yeah. Are they going to start the playoff system early?
I think I saw December 20th,
Yeah, that's
20th and
earlier.
21st.
That's earlier.
Yeah.
And we'll see how far the season extends into. I mean, they say it could possibly extend into February, which is fine to me. Listen, listen. The longer the college football season goes, the better for me. That's
Well,
because
they're going, it's all about scheduling,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
the
I mean,
the
it's
networks aren't going to do anything to, they're going to run head to head probably with some NFL, but for the most
yeah.
part, they're not going to go too much head to head.
Yeah, they need to steer clear of the NFL now. Listen, we've seen things end badly
Yeah, when you go up against them like
when
that,
you try to go up again. Hello USFL. Hello, y'all. Remember when y'all were when I ain't talking about this iteration of the
you talking about
USFL
the very first.
back in the day when
Yeah.
they opened after the NFL and it was great. It was a really nice alternative
Yeah, it was. It
to
was.
the
It
NFL. And
was.
not only that, you had
They even
you
had
had
they even got you they
star
even
players.
had star
They
players.
had Warren Moon. They had star players that were opting. I think Herschel Walker went to the USFL.
Herschel Walker,
You know,
your boy, Anthony Carter.
Anthony Carter went to the USFL.
Yeah.
And so you had a situation where you had a
Um,
great
Jim
alternative.
Kelly.
Who, oh, yeah, Jim Kelly went to the USFL.
Yeah.
But then they got greedy and decided, hey, we can take on the incumbent. We can take
Well,
on the
and
NFL.
their one of their major downfalls too was their salary base was ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
You had
yeah,
you had your Herschels and your Jim Kellys, right, making all the money, right? And they kind of shot themselves in the foot in the
yeah.
very beginning, right?
So
Then
I hope that college
you
football
had
don't make the same
Trump
mistake.
owning the Generals.
Yeah. Everything he touched,
It don't turn to gold.
it don't turn to gold.
Just the letters on the building.
You think that's so I hope that college football does not make the same mistake. Because it's listen, it's far and away my favorite sport. I don't get up for anything like I get up for college football. But it is largely a regional sport, depending on where you live
Right,
in the
right.
country. And so they would be wise to tread lightly when because the further the season goes on, because you're talking January in NFL, that's you in the heart of the playoffs,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, and we've seen that nothing can compare to NFL playoffs.
And
Um,
John, it's obvious too though that the networks and stuff, right? They'll pay the money.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They will pay the money for
I just
these
don't. I mean,
leagues, man.
I hope to God that these changes. And again, I'm trying my best. You can hear it in my voice. You can see how much I'm struggling um, with this. Because change is not the most easy thing to embrace, especially when it was a situation where it wasn't necessarily. I mean, yeah, obviously, college football um, had to have some sort of tweaking towards its postseason because there was a time when it was just, hey, we play all the bowl games. We gonna vote who the national championship
Yeah, yeah,
is,
yeah.
and
Which was kind of
and
crazy.
everybody can argue off all off season.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
all
saying?
for the whole. And
Probably not.
I think they love that too, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Especially
think
when there was some questioning,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But yeah,
probably not the best way to determine a true
yeah,
champion.
no, it's a
So
national champion.
I,
With your
I,
poll, your AP, and your coaches, your UP.
yeah, yeah, which is why we had the situation that we had in 1997, where Michigan was the first team, and I still got, I'm still not totally happy about that. They were the first team ever in the history of the sport to be ranked unanimous number one in both polls, the coaches and the AP, won their bowl game,
Right.
and then dropped in the poll. Never happened before. So, unfortunately, that was when everything was in the hands of the voters. So you really didn't have any kind of jurisdiction over it. And
Yeah.
so, but
Well,
to me,
it's nothing better determining champion by playing it on the field,
yeah,
court, whatever.
yeah.
Well,
So, but the only thing with that is that they didn't go far enough. Um, the BCS one versus two, you had all kind of jockeying and politics
yeah,
about who should be number two and who should be number one and
one,
da da da.
yeah,
Da. I remember in 2006 when um, that historic Michigan Ohio State game where number one and number two they both came into that game undefeated. Michigan lost a extremely close 3-point road loss, and Urban Meyer cried, and said, "Nah, they had their shot. There shouldn't be a repeat in the national championship." And so the voters bowed down to the almighty SEC. And then 3 years later, you had exactly that with a
yeah,
repeat with Alabama and LSU. You had exactly that. So was another way
yeah.
that they favored
Well,
the
and you
SEC.
know what they say: what goes around comes.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
just saying, it's like y'all were dead set against rematches when it was the Big Ten,
right.
but 3 years later,
Well,
LSU, Alabama had a
you
rematch
know they
from the
got to take
SEC.
care of the princess.
So it is what it is, and I just
The,
I
the,
don't.
the, the thing is, though, going forward, who's going to be the big guy? Who's going to call the shots? Right? NCAA, right? Who's going to police this?
Well, I think with this Michigan situation, I think you're seeing a test case scenario for just how relevant or irrelevant the NCAA as a governing body is going to be
Yeah.
um, from this point on. I mean, because and then most of the calls are coming from Columbus, which I understand. But I don't know if you've seen the reports, but they're about to bring the allegations against Michigan, and they're from what I understand,
Oh,
the
really?
yeah the
From
NCC
all the stuff like last year?
yeah they're and they're about to bring their investigation to a close and recommend what punishment that Michigan should receive, and
Well,
most of it is centering towards a possible 1 to 2 year bowl ban. No
so
vacated
now that
wins.
well, bowl game or disqualification from the playoff?
Postseason ban. So
Got
bowl ban, postseason,
yeah,
playoff,
yeah.
none of that.
Mm.
Which, um, listen, I'm a
Well,
Mich-
and me personally, not nothing to do with you know because it's Michigan or anything. Uh, that's why Harbaugh got up out of there.
yeah. I mean, that, and he's made no bones about wanting to go back to the NFL. Each of the last three off seasons, he was entertaining. Um,
Right,
um,
offers.
so it looks, but the optics of it looks
Yeah,
like
right, right.
So I get
I
it.
mean, because why? Okay, you won the national championship, but why not? Because again, that NFL option was always going to be there for you. Why
Mm-hmm.
not come back this year and defend without having
Well, yeah, it was that. I think it was the NCAA investigation. It was also the fact that we lost a ton. We have four returning starters.
Yeah.
So we lost a ton of talent from that last team. That was a very veteran laden team. And so I think with all of that, he was like, this is as good a time for me to leave
Let me
as
go.
any. But I never thought, even now I'm not one of those Michigan fans that will, no, they shouldn't be punished. Yeah, they broke the rules. I think the rule was a trivial one, um, because by the NCAA's own
Well,
admission,
I
it
think that
was.
the what's name is ridiculous though. That especially like the food thing.
Yeah, I mean the burger game.
Yeah,
That's
because even when my niece Jackie Rose was in high school and she was going around doing her college visits, she went to visit Syracuse, right? So we drove up, to see her and everything, and kind of went around campus with her as much as we could on the visit. Met a bunch of kids from the other kids from other areas on the Syracuse track team. Nice visit. But then we went for breakfast.
hmm
The Syracuse coach comes up to us and tells us, oh, you guys have to pay for your own meal, blah blah. So no, no problem. We're not asking y'all to, we do have our money, just let us know too that we couldn't buy her anything either, you know, because that I guess that would be looked at as advantageous or whatever. No problem. We
Yeah,
we just come to see her because we close by or whatever. So it was cool. But again, to have to say that over a $9 buffet.
yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why the NCAA is irrelevant, because they had rules in place that have kind of contributed to their own irrelevance right now. The fact that a booster, or in this instance, a coach with Jim Harbaugh, couldn't buy a potential recruit a hamburger,
Right.
but a player,
Where were they?
I
What
think it was somewhere
in
on
this
campus.
in this burger centric uh environment now where you got all these burger places? What burger
I
was it?
think it was somewhere on
Was it
campus. I have
Five
to,
Guys? Was it Herbies? Was it
yeah,
In
I'm
and
not
Out?
sure.
Was it
I'm not sure. I,
we gotta find that out. We
I got
want
to
to know
figure that.
here on Sports Chat. What
But
burger
but
chain was it?
but the fact that that's an NCAA violation, but a player, a college, you remember Chris Winkie,
Yeah,
who
right.
went
Was
and
played
played
baseball.
mine, was an actual professional
Professional ball player.
athlete.
Yeah.
You can go play professional sports for
Come
6
back.
years and come back to college at age 26 and still maintain amateur
Your
status.
eligibility.
So I think they've contributed because of the stupidity and the lack of consistency when it comes to their rules. I think they contributed to their own irrelevance right now, and that's one of the reasons why the hammer that everybody, and it's particularly Ohio State fans, because most of it is coming out of Columbus. You go on their blogs and you go on their threads, and they're highly disappointed with the fact that the Michigan is only facing a possible bowl man, which they're going to appeal, and that might not even happen. You
Right.
know, not to say that they shouldn't have gotten punished, because hey, rules are rules, regardless. I mean, regardless of how trivial. I think that the NCAA is on their record stating that first of all, it's not illegal to have a team signs. It's not illegal. It happens all the time. That's why you watch film. That's why you watch tape. You try to determine and decipher what a team is doing. It's how they obtain them. Okay, no in-person scouting. You can't send players. You can't send people to other games to scout their game.
Right.
Okay, fine. But the NCAA is already on record stating that they're first of all, in 2021 they were seriously considering banning that rule, because by their own admission it had no little to no impact
Outcome of the
on the
choice.
outcome of the game. So, yeah, did they break the rule? Yeah, they did. But for Ohio State fans to pretend that that's the reason why you lost 3 games to Michigan in a row, I think it's preposterous. You lost because the better team won. Yeah, we had your signals, you had ours. They shared our signals with Purdue after we beat them in 2022. They shared our signals with Purdue for the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
So it's not illegal to have signs. That's
Well,
not the
and
problem.
I mean, and you how could they sit there even in the investigation throughout history? Isn't that part of the intrigue of
Yeah,
knowing
of
what
course.
the other person's going to do?
Of
I
course.
mean,
Don't mean you can stop
because
it.
I sent you got to send them tapes of your game. Whether you
That's
just
why
watching
you
the
watch
footage of the
tape.
play,
That's why you watch film and you watch tape.
right?
So, and I mean,
I mean
I may not.
that's supposed to give you somewhat of an advantage too, right?
Yeah.
You see them line up. Oh, that's
But
A. That's A.
again,
A.
I'm not trying to absolve Michigan of they listen. The rule was in place. They broke the rule. So I'm not trying to upset. I'm not trying to insinuate that they're innocent.
Innocent.
You broke the rule. It was a stupid rule, but you broke it. So, but I think the stupidity of the rule, or the irrelevance of the rule, I should say, is one of the reasons why they wanted the death penalty in Columbus. They're talking about strip them of all the wins of the last 3 seasons, and take away the national championship and ban them for 3 years. And that was never going to happen. It was never going to happen.
Well, that's just that's just crying across
It's
the screen.
mostly fandom, yeah,
Yeah,
and it's hard sometimes to rationally think because they got banned, they got wins stripped with the Trestle tattoo gate
correct,
scandal, which
correct.
was another.
Again, like say, but I mean, it was like I said, it's a rule.
But it was a rule, and then too, what the problem, and I think the reason why the NCAA came down harder on Ohio State is because if those players who were guilty of the tattoo gate scandal, those players would have been ruled ineligible to play.
Right.
So you literally played ineligible players. That may have had a much bigger outcome on the game for
The
players who
hamburgers.
would have would have otherwise been ruled ineligible. You'd have to take Terrell Pryor off the field. You would have to take a couple of other players that whoever participated in the scandal. Yeah, that's a sizable advantage. But I'm
Well,
not here to.
and not only that, back then you had to have your tattoos covered anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not here to split hairs though, because it's like, hey, I I just think that the punishment in this case will fit the crime, because the crime wasn't as egregious.
My only thing though with it is punish us for what we did, not because of who we are. Don't try, a lot of times they punish, but they try to send a message as
Of
well,
course, of course.
So
But they got to be careful too and this is where the politics of it comes in. Um, we all know that Michigan is what's considered a blue blood program. You know
right.
that Ohio State, Nebraska, Alabama, um, who else? No, Georgia. I wouldn't consider Georgia a blue. One of those, just one of
Well,
those
uh,
tried
um,
and
uh,
true.
a modern day one, a new
Yeah,
day one, I should say.
Oklahoma. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of
Yeah,
those tried and true. You got to be
yeah, yeah,
careful with
yeah,
how
yeah.
hard you come because those are some of your
Yeah, they
biggest
uh, uh,
brands.
Georgia's on the next level, like next tier down.
Yeah, yeah, they're a
Yeah,
modern
yeah.
team,
No,
but I wouldn't call
I
them.
mean, because uh, they've won national championships before, but just
Yeah,
one. You know what I mean?
yeah, I would like a Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? Those types of programs that are traditional blue, but even though Notre Dame doesn't have nearly the success that they've had, mainly because they don't have the monopoly on college football that they used to have.
Right.
Um, but so they got to be careful with how hard they come down on one of their listen, the
Well, and
three
that well, and that's the thing, though. That worries me about it because now everybody know that they're losing control, whatever. So they may try to bully the blue blood because of
it'll
their lack
backfire.
of
It'll backfire on 'em.
their insecurity is going to show up in this. You watch.
It'll backfire. The TV networks won't allow it. You got to remember, the three most watched games in college football last year had one thing in common: Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan. I mean, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Michigan, Washington. Those were the three most watched games in college football last year. All involved Michigan. And so there is great, especially with the scam. You know what I'm saying? There's great. So you got to be careful. You take one of your biggest draws off of television and off. Them networks
Yeah,
gonna
well,
come calling
right.
like,
Because
hey, hey,
again, we say
yo,
the
them networks
network
say, hey,
clamors
man,
for
we
those
we
teams. Yeah,
just cut $1 billion check for y'all. Don't be trying to take. We
right,
need to recoup that money. That's where the
right.
politics of sports come into play, which leads people to believe that games are rigged and they want certain
All
teams
that,
to win and
all
all of
that.
that. All of that comes into
Then
play.
you got now you got the gambling legal, all that.
Yeah, heavy. Listen, ESPN has their own gambling.
On
I'm like,
network.
How is that even
Yeah,
allowed?
exactly. I mean they pushing it too.
I'm like, how is that even? How y'all don't see the conflict of interest in that?
Ooh,
I'm like,
unbelievable.
but
And so
that
look, you got all at the same time, right? You got DraftKings, right? You got DraftKings, you got fantasy, and then you got
that
the
money,
NBA.
man, it rules the world.
It's
It's and but
unbelievable.
it's not a it's a this is where it enters into greed because it's like then you start asking questions like, okay, you're doing all this realignment for money, you're doing all of this conference, and it's like, how much is enough?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When do
yeah.
y'all get to the point where it's like, all right, we got all the money. We can let this go. We can leave this alone. We can protect this sacred cow because we've got enough money to I'm like, how much is enough, man? What
I mean,
Jesus Christ. You
the
know?
net. I mean, that new NBA deal. Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable. All right, well,
it's
listen.
just
So it finally happened, right? In our world of gender identification, right? So it finally happens in the Olympics with the women boxing, right?
yeah.
So what? Give me your take on that. Uh, I mean, you know it's going you know it's going to show up on the worldwide
It's gonna
site,
end.
right?
I don't. Is was it a transgender that is
Yeah. The guy,
being
the
allowed to
woman, the
box as a
female.
woman?
Yeah,
That's
it was a
that's
male turned woman
dangerous. That's
boxer.
dangerous.
Yeah,
That's dangerous. Y'all going too far with this. That's dangerous. You can really hurt some. You know.
well,
That's
here's my it. If you're going to allow them to participate, then give them a separate group. Follow me.
yeah,
Put all
yeah.
your put
Don't
all your put all your people like that up against each other.
just foolish. I mean, listen. Call yourself what you want to call yourself. I mean, you whatever pronoun you want. I don't. Biologically, you that's from a strength standpoint, from a
Right.
biological standpoint, you have the strength of a man, and that should not you should not be allowed to enter into a woman's boxing ring. That's a competitive disadvantage. And again, a male strength swinging that you can really hurt one of these women. I would if I was a woman boxer, I would protest. I would protest. Like I'm not getting in the
Yeah.
ring. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Protest.
Yeah. I
But
mean, that's
this is
like
the world we live in.
I mean, that's like putting LeBron on the U.S. women's team.
Yeah. And watch him average 100 points a game. Cause
just, just go to
you
the
know what I'm
hole.
saying?
Right.
Cause he can put on cause he's wearing the dress now. That's
Well, it
you
ain't
know, I
even
mean
you ain't got
listen,
to do that because you know.
it's the world we live in right now.
Yeah.
But it's just all right, y'all. Now y'all going too far. You going too far with this. But I don't know. I don't know how you stop it because everybody is so afraid of being labeled this and
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying?
The spirit of offenses.
Yeah. I don't. Again, call yourself what you want to call yourself. I ain't losing sleep over nobody that don't. You know what I'm saying? Call. Don't. Biologically, that person is still a man. He can name himself Shirley all he wants to,
You can be
but
Shirley.
that's you know what I'm saying. But that's biologically that's a man, and you're putting a
Yeah.
woman
I mean,
at risk.
doesn't change that body shape, huh?
Yeah, it don't. You're putting a woman at risk if you allow him to go in there and take swings at a biological woman. That's at
Yeah,
some point you
that's
gotta
true.
like common sense gotta be like,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
y'all.
and especially in a world of things where domestic violence is
Yeah,
huge.
man. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
seriously, this where we are? Is this where we at for real?
no,
This
it's true. It's true. It's
this crazy,
don't you hit a woman, but I can
man.
change and
They
hit
gonna
one.
slap the cuffs on me, but
Just thinking about it, just think how twisted this is. Okay, so and I can see somebody trying it, right? They're arrested now, right, for domestic violence, and they say they tell their lawyer, well, I really been wrestling my with my identity, right? Imagine that. And the world is so twisted like that. Somebody might even try.
listen, man. You just gotta draw the line at common sense.
Yeah.
You want to be called Shirley? I'll call you Shirley. Whatever, whatever. But
That is so. But yeah,
no,
you figured out what come like. All right. Well, Miss Simone Biles, previous
I'm
Olympics, she had all the mental health, everything, but she returns. The women win the all around team, and then she wins the individual goal herself. How you feel about that? Excellent. Good
phenomenal.
for her.
Phenomenal gymnast, phenomenal Olympian. Um, I mean, even with her having that injury the other day and still coming back
Yeah.
and winning the gold, just a dedication to what hard work, and then of course mental issues aside, because everybody, you know, they give us
Everybody
a
goes through.
listen, man. That we have scheduled the company that I work for. We have scheduled mental health days where
Mhm.
I have a certain number of days that I
That you
can
have to
legally
take.
take off for a mental health refresher. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times people forget that, yeah, she might be rich and famous and this and that, but people are people, man.
Yeah.
And,
Everybody goes through
you know,
something.
and I don't live under the microscope of a Simone Biles. I have no idea what it feels
Right.
like
What it is for her day to day.
to go through a day where you can hardly go anywhere and not be
And
recognized.
where you can't go anywhere, or you really don't have chance to be
Yeah,
Simone Biles.
I don't wish. I mean, which makes me wonder why people desire fame. It might be fun for a week, but
Yeah.
I mean, like Michael Jackson, I was watching something. Somebody was playing a video on him where he had to literally, in order to go out in public, he had to
Had
literally
to
put on
disguise
disguise.
himself,
And if he wanted to go to an amusement park, he had to literally rent it out and shut it
shut it
down.
down.
I wouldn't want to live like that. I don't care
Yeah.
how much money you got. I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
live like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I
Well, now
think
now it's funny now because you didn't have the computer access. It wasn't set up.
no,
But nowadays you really don't have to go out if you don't want.
no.
Right? You can shop, right?
And a lot of them
Amazon
opt to
and,
do
and
that because it's like,
Instacart and all that.
and I don't, I don't think, and I have my issues with some celebrity. I don't think you have to be rude and nasty about it.
Yes, there's a way to go about it.
You can, yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
um, you can let people know in a nice decorum way that
Yeah,
I'm
no,
kind of with my family right now. I would rather
yeah,
not. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But thank you, blah 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 blah
yeah. But
blah.
like I said, don't be standoffish.
Yeah, I don't like that. But again, I have to consider the fact that I do not walk in their shoes.
True,
And so
true.
if she needed time to get her mental health together, great. Take it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You live in a fishbowl where there's demands on your time. People will, and then I was reading somewhere online where some people were criticizing that her hair wasn't done when she was
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
just stupid
I mean,
stuff that
you're participating
yeah.
uh in an Olympic event, and you worry about my hair. I'm
And this
sweating.
it's
Yeah,
stuff that the average person don't have to
have to
deal
deal
with.
with. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's a price for fame. It is,
yeah,
and so, and I don't like I said, I never advocate being rude or just unpleasant to people. You know, but I just wouldn't want to. I mean, give me their money, sure, I'll definitely take the money. But that not be. I mean, I ain't no in the world I would want to have to put on a disguise just to walk down the street. I just
yeah. You're right.
never. Mm-mm. So hats off to her, one of the most decorated, if not the most decorated Olympians ever, particularly in the field of gymnastics. So just totally impressed by her. Totally impressed by her.
Yeah, very, very,
And
very impressive.
I
Uh,
don't know if this is
and
her
I
last
think she just
run.
medaled again today.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah. Just phenomenal. I don't know if this is her last run, but if it is, she going out with a bang. So
and me personally, I think I would kind of step off the
yeah,
side. She
yeah,
came back
yeah.
victorious. You know.
And that's a real
Well, I
struggle.
mean, she's 27 now anyway, right? She
Yeah.
about
I mean,
27.
so she'll be in her 30s the next time the
Yeah,
Olympics roll
yeah,
around. Might
yeah.
not be a bad idea to call it quits and just
Go
go.
go go out on top.
I mean, think about it. You 31 years old and you got more
Right,
money than you'll ever be able to spend. You got, you know what I'm saying? That's who wouldn't want to be able to retire at 31? That's
right.
that's man. So yeah, it's but
And,
yeah,
and like you say, you know, your name is out there, right?
yeah,
Go and
yeah.
enjoy your life.
Go and enjoy your
Got
life.
you're married now, all that.
Married to the football player, and you know, just go on and enjoy your life.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, remember, next week, Lord willing, we're gonna have a little college football preview, right? Talk about some teams and has the preseason poll come out yet?
Not yet. I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one.
Well,
But the
forthcoming,
consensus is that either Georgia or Ohio State are
one or two.
one or two,
All
which makes sense. I mean, I do think Ohio State has questions at quarterback.
right.
I'm not sold on Will Howard. You lost your starting job to a freshman, you know, coming in, and so he kind of gives me Shea Patterson vibes, where when we thought that we had everything but the quarterback,
Well,
and we brought
I
him
know this
in.
is a big year for Mr. Day out there in
Oh,
Ohio.
he's under more pressure than any coach
Yeah,
in
in college
sports.
football. Yeah, no doubt.
So not only have you lost three straight to Michigan, not only have then you had to sit back and watch your hated rival go on and win the
And
national
win
championship.
the chip.
They gotta respond. That's why all those guys are coming back, and they're basically doing what Michigan did last year, where Blake Corum could have went to the NFL. He decided to come back.
Right.
Junior Colston, Mike Sanderstein, all of those players could have been NFL ready last year, but they decided, hey, we got an opportunity. We got a
Let's
veteran
try it again.
quarterback. You look at the landscape. Everybody was replacing players. It was set up for Michigan to make the run that they ran. And so, because think about it, last year you had Stetson Bennett that left. You had what's the quarterback from Alabama? Play for the Carolina Panthers now. He left.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, uh,
Young, Bryce
Bryce
Young.
Young. He left. You know, so it was clear, and I think Ohio State feels a similar situation is happening this year. You know, because I mean they got players that could have definitely gone to the NFL that decided to come back. So we'll see. I mean, but it's tougher this year because you got more landmines to navigate. Um, I'm glad that we closed out the 14 playoff with a win because it would have been harder to do it this year. So we'll see. But I can't deny they got a serious roster up there, so they should be one of the top contenders for a national title. As much as it pains me to say that.
Should be interesting. But again, you know the league that they're in, so
Yeah, yeah.
you
I mean,
got
they got a
definitely
lot
have
more.
to prove it on the
They got
field.
their schedule isn't that tough. Outside of that trip to Oregon, they got to go to Oregon. Um, they get Michigan at home. I think they go to Happy Valley, so that and Penn State every now and then can
Right.
come up.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Uh, with the Big Ten, no matter a lot of time the disparity of the team, you always have that Saturday or two
Hmm.
where you
Yeah,
survive or you
yeah.
escape or you survive. Right.
We'll
One of the
see how
two.
they
However
look.
you want to
I
look at it.
think I think the Oregon Ohio State game honestly is going to decide the Big Ten.
Where is it? Is it in
It's
Columbus
in
or
Oregon.
South?
It's in Oregon.
Okay, yeah, she'll be interesting.
So that if I think whoever wins that game will win the Big Ten.
Yeah, that should be an interesting ball
I
game.
think we lost too much to reasonably be now next year.
To be
You
in the
know,
mix.
all bets are off because I think we started off slow in recruiting, but our 2025 class is poised to be the best that it's been in 20 years.
Wow.
So, everybody thought,
Well,
well,
the thing,
maybe
how are Michigan at the prime positions? QB, receiver,
that's where we have
running
questions
back.
at quarterback. Most of our experience is coming back on the defensive side. Offense is huge. We four starting offensive linemen gone. Your all world running back gone. I mean, we got Donovan Edwards, which I think is a more than capable replacement.
Right,
But I think with Michigan, it all starts in the trenches. Now, we did rotate a lot of players, so a lot of players got valuable experience, but there weren't starters. Now they're going to be called on. Now, what's going to help us is we got those two studs on our defensive line, Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant,
right,
um, who are both projected to be first round picks. And we got the number one defensive player number one rated defensive player in college football in Will Johnson, the best cornerback we've had probably since Charles Woodson. So, um,
that
you
that
know,
that's that's high
that's
high person to be compared
high
to. I tell you.
praise, but he's that good. So I think defensively we'll be fine. This is most of our question marks are on the offensive side of the ball. So it's a
Well,
sort
I
of a
mean,
transition
if
year.
they can keep that running attack,
Yeah,
that always separates
but
Michigan
it depends
because
on that line.
they they haven't they haven't been sucked in yet with the all air
No,
out. They still
no,
manage to run.
no. I mean, we played old school football, and
Yeah,
we proved that you
smash
could
mouth
win playing smash
in
mouth
the
football.
trenches.
So
Yeah,
we'll
should be.
see. We'll see.
All right, well, sports chat fans, we enjoyed being with you again here on Saturday. We don't know. We don't know what happened around today. Didn't hear anything. Wake up, Ron, wherever you are. Wake up. All right, John. Love you, man. Talk
I
to you
love you
next
too,
week.
man.
Hopefully here on Sports Chat. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekend. Everybody be blessed.
Peace. All right.